Hey everyone, Brian Zane here with another viewer mailbag. I've been letting this box fill up with stuff from fans over the last few months. I've been looking at this thing in my office for far too long, and it's time to empty it out. Yes! Oh no! This first one comes to us from Kyle, and it's via Royal Mail. Nice, got a few action figures to start things off. Looks like we're going to recreate the summer of 2000 before the big show was sent back to OVW here. A nice collection of lapel pins here. You got one that says Independent, the Devil's Favorite Demon for Kane. I'm not sure who this one is supposed to be. I think this might be the Revolting Blob. Here we go, see the big show once again.
Understand the giant.
And an Undertaker Tarot style pin. Ooh, and an ICW pin. Ooh, fun, a Luchador bottle opener. Always looking for more of these. Oh, this is kind of cool. This is one of those like slide puzzles where you get to kind of rebuild the big gold belt. That's fun. Also got some signed 8x10s, one of Booker T and one of Effie, friend of the channel. Oh, and this right here is a big old printout poster of the Acclaimed when they won the AEW tag titles at Arthur Ashe Stadium. It's all wrapped up in a couple of t-shirts, one of Jay White and the other is an ICW shirt from Scotland. And finally, this here poster of Asuka. Thanks, Kyle. Our first letter comes to us from Blair in Palmyra, Pennsylvania. Once again, I have been gifted some pamphlets from, I'm guessing, the Pennsylvania Tourism Board. I have something here for the Harrisburg Escape Rooms and historic Penn's Cave and Wildlife Park. Listen, folks, if you want me to start shilling more of your historical and roadside attractions across this great country of ours, maybe send me a couple of free tickets, maybe a flight to your location, and maybe we can make some things happen. Opening a package here from Roland in Norwich, Connecticut. Aha! Wonderful! Box office poison! Oh, look at this, a Bob's Burgers movie air freshener. I can't wait to see what this smells like. Yeah, it smells very much like a cleaner. It doesn't smell like, I'd rather it be that instead of it trying to smell like something savory, like a burger or something. I'm not sure I want synthetic burger smell in my car. Oh, and check this out. Apparently they made a Bullet Club shirt commemorating a decade in business. Kind of reminds me of my Decade of Regret shirt, which is available at ProWrestlingTees.com. He asks in this letter if I find it strange that I started my channel the same year Bullet Club was formed, albeit a month apart. Well, you know, it's funny. Ring of Honor and Women's Extreme Wrestling also got their starts at the exact same time in 2002, and obviously we know that the legacies of each of those companies are secure, very similar in many ways to the legacies of Bullet Club and Wrestling with Regret. Got a letter here from Jarvis in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. You can tell it's an older letter because he says, I don't know if you watched Monday Night Raw this week, but WWE is bringing back the World Heavyweight Championship. He talks about asking me to maybe make a list of the best and worst Universal Champions. I don't know if there are enough good and bad champions to make a list, or either of them actually. I would have to say Goldberg's probably one of the worst though, right? Alright, this package comes to me from I'm not sure where because there's no name on it, there's no return address to speak of, but it appears they sent me a bunch of these WCW or NWO style die-cast cars. Got one here, the NWO style Elizabeth, one for Kurt Hennig, got one for Bret the Hitman Hart, and check out this one for Ultimo Dragon. I'm definitely getting this one out. So thank you, whoever you are, for sending me these cars. This card comes to us from frequent sender of stuff, Daniel in Burton, Michigan. You can tell this card is an older one because it's full of optimism about CM Punk's return to AEW this year, though he does say in the card, don't put the belt on him. Tag him with MJF. Punk's a better heel anyways. Well, you know, it's too bad that you wrote this because Punk, they did put a belt on him, just not the belt. And also, in a way, you did kind of predict an MJF tag team, just not this one. And also, Daniel sent me a separate thank you card or congratulations card on 10 years of regret. Thank you very much, Daniel. Okay, this next one comes to us from Leonard in Heath, Ohio. It is very flat and firm. We'll see what's inside. All right, so there are actually a couple of signed 8x10s here. The first one is of former WWE and TNA star Sean Daivari, and on the other side, there's a signed 8x10 of Jordan Blue, who is an independent wrestler from California. Thanks so much for sending these. I can add them to my growing collection. This one comes to us from Jason, who in the past has sent some pretty cool artwork on these envelopes. He sends them from Germany, and look at the beautiful artwork, the detail that he had in drawing the United States like like this. It looks great. Wow. Oh, very neat. Look at this. Some great artwork here of Mankind with the blood and the Socko and everything. Dear Brian Zane, I hope you're doing well. I'm a big fan of your channel and have been a loyal subscriber since 2016. It's great to see W3 grow in strength and popularity each year. Well done. As a token of my appreciation, I've made for you a watercolor illustration of the hardcore legend Mick Foley as his Mankind persona. Well, Jason, this is really awesome work. The stuff you've sent me before, just the artwork on the envelopes themselves have been cool. And this is really neat too. Very nice artwork. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. This is another flat one. This one comes to us from Dave in Massachusetts. I must have mentioned somewhere that I have not seen Blade Runner, so thank you very much to Dave for sending me this DVD of Blade Runner. This movie stars a lot of famous people. Rutger Hauer is a name that I associate with, not for this movie, but for actually a movie he made back in the 80s called Blind Fury. It took place mostly in Reno, Nevada, and I came upon that movie shortly after I moved to Reno. So to me, it was very novel that there was some kind of cheesy action flick starring Rutger Hauer as a blind military vet who was trained in the art of martial arts and stuff, trying to find his old war partner's son who had been kidnapped, and just to see what Reno looked like in the years from when that movie was made. Where was I? Okay, this next one comes to us from Michael in Chicago, Illinois. It looks like you have sent me several kilos of Coke at first glance. All right, it's a copy of No Mercy. Very cool. And he also sent me a copy of the Nitro book written by Guy Evans, The Incredible Rise and Inevitable Collapse of Ted Turner's WCW. It does focus a lot on just kind of like the overarching lifespan of WCW when it was owned by Turner and all the history therein, but it does also focus a lot on Nitro and the ratings war, and you hear a lot of things from people in production who you normally don't hear from because they're not the big, typical names you see in documentaries like Eric Bischoff or what have you. But I think from what I have read of this so far, it's very comprehensive. Oh boy, I think I know where this is going. This has a Harrisburg, Pennsylvania stamp on it, and tell you what, there's no return address, but it says WWW Rules, brother, and it feels very pamphlet-y. Jubilee Ministries of Lebanon County. Why are you sending me, who is sending me pamphlets for the Jubilee Ministries, Prison and Aftercare Ministry, and the chaplains of the Jubilee? Why did you send these to me? Our penultimate package comes to us from Chris in Chelsea, Michigan. The enclosed stickers come from coin machines back in the 2000s. I'm not sure where the rest came from, but I thought I'd throw them in there as well. Keep up the great videos. Thank you, Chris. Ooh, a little stone cold notepad. Perfect for taking little notes. There's like a peel back thing on there. If you want a sticker of Jimmy Fly Snuka, perhaps. Maybe you would, I don't know. Oh, this is very cool. There's a line of Fleer WWE cards, very thick card stock for a lot of these here, and some AEW cards to boot. Thanks for sending these, Chris. Our last comes to us once again from Michael in Chicago. Got a few things here. This is a Chicago Bulls ball. Cool, this is the revised edition of The Death of WCW by R.D. Reynolds and Brian Alvarez. I actually have the original edition of this up in my bookshelf here, and I guess I do want to reread this because I know a lot of time has passed and I want to see how much of this stuff is kind of held up. It's funny because I got the Nitro book earlier, and the Nitro book is a really good response piece to the death of WCW. And this is cool, the Wrestling Observer's Top 100 Pro Wrestlers of All Time, written by John F. Molinaro. I love books like this, coffee table books or just non-WWE published books, and I think having this kind of stuff, this kind of material is really cool, especially for those who might be learning about some of the most historic wrestlers. I know that helped me a lot when these kind of books did when I started watching wrestling. And there appears to be something in here in the bookmark section. I don't know if this is intentional or not. I see a coupon for the world famous Billy Goat Tavern and Grill. It was the Chicago Library. I see a bunch of bookmarks here. There's a bus and an L train map as well, which is going to be great when I, eventually go to Chicago for some reason. I'll do some studying on this one. So thank you very much, Michael. Well, folks, once again, thank you so much for your generous submissions to the mailbag. I had a great time opening these up and just seeing what kind of neat things y'all have for me. And some of you are very keen-eared, because some of these feel like references to past videos and mailbags I've done. So it's great to see y'all keeping track and sending things accordingly. Once again, I can't thank you enough for the support and for these neat little items. If you want to send something for me to open or read on the air, you can send it to Brian Zane at 1863 Pioneer Parkway, number 455, Springfield, Oregon 97477. Thanks once again, everyone. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.